Great. Well, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I think consistency really helps our practice by showing up, even if it's just simply showing up. You're doing the hard part, so thanks for doing so. And speaking of furry friends, if you do have one, leave the door open. They might come and go. And when I first got my cat, she was adopted at about 1 year old. And since then, for about the last 2 years, I've really just tried to provide consistency, obviously, with like love and affection, but sometimes cats, you can't really force that on them. So just showing up, being here, providing food, shelter, water, and just giving her needs. But throughout the last 2 years, and even just now when I was prepping for our sequence, I was just laying in Shavasana for a moment, and she came in and like put her cute little chin on my arm. And it's just these like little subtle reminders that love can grow, especially if you provide it with like safety and just your survival needs being met. So I hope you guys are doing that obviously for yourselves, but maybe even extending that to others. And I do think yoga and like regulating our nervous system is a basic need that just not a lot of people know how to do. So I'm glad you're here to maybe practice that or just learn some tips and tricks to help your body, help your mind regulate. So let's begin on our seats. Again, this practice that we're going to do, if you're used to practicing with me in the park, we usually end up on our feet at some point in our practice. But today we're just mainly going to be on our seats, on our knees, and on our backs. If you know that your joints are sensitive, you might want to grab a blanket or like have like a rug or a carpet underneath you to just soften that space. And of course, if you are at home, hello and welcome. If you are at home and you have a prop that you'd like to sit up on, you may. And then you'll just settle into your seat. If an at-home practice is new for you, like welcome to this challenge. And there will be probably a lot of things that pull you away. It could be sound or thoughts of the to-dos, or just like maybe even like a little bit of clutter that's around you. And let that be. Let everything around you settle and let your breath begin to pulse. Letting it rise into your system, trying to not only reach and expand through your lungs, but maybe even spill out to like your limbs into your head. And when you exhale, let it all go completely, softly, deeply. And try that a few more times. Giving yourself permission to wiggle and move as you need. And pull your awareness to the consistency of this breath. And why I really, really love, honor, and celebrate Collins Quarter for supporting the consistency of this work, even when the weather doesn't want us to be outside. We get to go internal and we get to show up in community, even if that's virtual. After a few cycles of breath, you'll flip your palms open, and we're going to do a technique that maybe you've done with me before, or it could be brand new to you. And the thumb is what's going to stay consistent for us. And the thumb is going to touch the index finger, and then it will go to the ring finger, and then it will touch, middle finger, then ring finger, and then pinky. And your thumb will kind of just keep going through those little fingerprints. And at the same time, we're going to chant a mantra, and this can be internal. This can also be something that you express out loud. And as I explain what we're going to chant, you may hold on to it and resonate with it, or you might shift it and change it to a count if that feels more resonant for you. This is going to be a sa, ta, na, ma meditation where we say those syllables as we shift our thumb to tap those different parts of our fingers. And what this means, sat, meaning creation, meaning like the birth of an idea. And then you have ta, which is resembling like sustaining, nourishing, continuing. And then you have na, which is resembling an end to something, a completion. And then finally, you have ma, which then gives us this like reset, this next cycle, like a recycle of the same process. And what this will do for us is going to concentrate and level the mind as we get into our yogic practice today. So first things first, sit up really tall and be comfortable. You can even be on a couch or a bed for this. If you need to switch the cross of your legs, since we've been here for a moment, you can. Take a first breath in, growing tall through spine, expansive through lungs. And then an open mouth exhale, fog up the air in front of you. And then we'll begin. Sa, bringing the thumb and pointer. And then you'll switch ta to bringing your ring finger and, your middle finger and thumb. And then na, you're going to bring your ring finger and thumb. And then ma, pinky and thumb. And we'll keep going. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Keep vocalizing if you are. We'll do 3 more cycles. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. You can keep the mantra or start to whisper it. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Do 1 more cycle and then take away the vocals and just express through the mind with thought, with word, not expressive, but internal. And then do about 5 more rounds silently. And at some point, you might like consciously let go of saying it and notice maybe your mind just like replaying it, independent of your own control. Really beautiful, everybody. Let that go. Let the hands rest on the knees. And full breath in. Open mouth, exhale out. And you may pause in stillness, or you might create some motion, some movement by taking your chest in a circle around your seat, keeping that grip of the hands around the kneecaps, almost like a perfect fit. And you'll rotate a few times in this direction. You can even take head, neck, and shoulders into that rotation, creating like cat-cow. Switch directions and notice how you shift on your sit bones, those 2 bony parts on the end of your mat or surface that you're practicing on. You might notice how the inner and outer thighs are feeling, the low back, all the way up through chest, neck, and shoulders. You might hear a pop or a crack, and that's all your body becoming used to your position here. And then you'll lift and lengthen, find some strength in your spine, and then we'll extend our legs out in front of us. If you are like long ways on your mat, we will pretty much stay in this orientation today. So you can adjust as you need. Draw your heels down, find a little bend in your knees. Start to engage the quad by like lifting the kneecap slightly. You'll pull your seat back, so you might even like intentionally like walk it back as you lift tall. And then arms are going to extend out in front of you. Let your palms face one another and then lean forward. And when you inhale, come back up and maybe lean a little bit back. Seeing if your heels can keep digging down as your core engages. Good, 2 more times like that. You will exhale to lean forward, stretch through hamstrings, float your hands, and then inhale to come up through center and lean back. Good, just as far as your core can stay tight. Last round. I'm going to turn just so you guys can see. I'm going to exhale to lean forward, inhale to pick up and lean back. Good. Inhale, come back through center. Rest your fingertips. Bring your right foot to the inside of the thigh. You're coming to tree legs. And then from tree legs, make it a little wider so you'll kind of create more of like a wide-legged stance. If you look down, you have like half of a V, and then the other foot is to inner thigh. Turn towards your front foot. Your shoulders and your hips start to look to your toes. Of course, your sit bones will stay seated. And then walk your hands forward. If you can, continue to pull your right knee down as you lean towards your left foot. Nice. If you need some support, you can have a folded blanket or block underneath your knee as you encourage the knee to go out and down towards the side as you fold forward of the leg. If you are practicing with a blanket or a bolster, you can place the bolster like right underneath your belly and then lean towards that object. We're going to take 5 slow and mindful breaths. And again, this is so different than a practice at the park where we might be flowing from one pose to another pretty quickly. Here we get to sink into the sensations and like find that point of security in the structure of the bones so that then maybe the body can deepen or maybe the thoughts can grow thicker into sensation or wherever the brain is exploring, here, there, or somewhere else. Okay. Take another breath in, deep, deep, deep inhale. A nice mouth opened exhale. Then walk your hands closer to the body, sit up tall. And then we're going to twist. So your left hand is coming to your right knee. You're going to look over your back shoulder. We'll just be here for 2 breaths. Grow tall through spine and then twist over through shoulders, wringing out your digestive organs. Really good for detoxifying. I read a quote earlier today, and I'll share it in a minute because I only said we'd be here for a breath or 2. Turn yourself forward. Okay, this time we're going to bring left hand down the long edge of our left leg. Sorry, left hand down left leg. Bring right hand to hip crease. Then turn your body, kind of like we just did in that twist, keeping your heart expansive, and then maybe lean closer to your big toe or towards the ankle. Hand can either stay on hip to remind it to plug in and down, or you might reach it, extend it up and above the head, palm facing towards the long leg, ribs opening and expanding up to the ceiling. Legs can stay soft. Side body grows long with breath. And just as we breathe in, we breathe out. And the quote was, "We're not hoarders, we're non-relinquishers. And so instead of like really holding tight onto your inhale breath, make sure you take really deep, long sighs and exhales so that any air that lingers, it can get out. The cycle can end and something new and fresh can begin. Good, everybody. Okay, let's lift up tall. Breathe in. Both hands can come down by your sides. One more time, turn towards your front leg. Widen your elbows, tense your hands. 3 times, you'll flow. Exhale down, inhale back up. Good. Get like a little flow, a little flush of anything, maybe holding or hoarding onto the body. Like flush it through. Let it go. Reset it. And then you'll turn yourself forward. Bring both feet together. Your heels can come a little bit farther away from your body. Okay, a little bit of work, just teasing work. We're not going crazy tonight. I want your hands to be on the back of the head if comfortable. Elbows will widen like your knees. A few rounds, we'll inhale to kind of puff the heart, reach the shoulder blades, tweezing them together. And with an exhale, pull elbows and knees towards one another and find like a cat-like back. Good. Let's go again. Breathe in, lift, extend, fly elbows, open legs. When you exhale, it's a pull, a squeeze, a tightening in. Good. Breath in, fresh and free. When you exhale, full and complete. Pull belly in and up. Good. Last 2. You breathe in to expand. Breathe out to let go. It can be out through the mouth or out through the nose. Fabulous. Last one. Open, open, open. Breathe in. And then exhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You can drop the hands to interlace underneath the thighs or over the calves. You'll drop your head and just take a breath, feeling your body expand onto the thighs. So your upper half will meet your lower half in breath. Connecting the 2, moving into the day, whatever has stuck to you, like acknowledge it, notice it, and most importantly, like accept it. No need to change something we can't. We breathe, we be, and stay flexible in our thinking and most definitely in our breathing. When you inhale, bring your hands behind you. Good. We'll take our knees and knock them over to the right, and you can look to the left. And then just breathe in, pick up everything through center, and then fall to the other side. Gaze over opposite shoulder. Pull everything back in and up. You'll find yourself resetting to the other side. So this time your right leg will extend, your left leg will bend. If your leg is extended straight out in front of you, widen it. You're in like a wide legged stance with the foot to the inner thigh. Sit up tall, grow your seat into that like sturdy, that rooted quality, and then more expansive up through spine. Then both hands will tent either side of that extended leg. And then start to draw your chest closer to that front leg. And again, to make it more restorative, like if that's sort of what you're embracing, then a pillow or a like, could be, I don't know, along like a body pillow underneath you, or even like a set of blocks to just catch your chest. And you're here for about 3 more deep inhalations and exhalations. And constant through the cycle. And maybe you recognize it's a breath in, maybe it's a pause at the top, a breath out, a pause at the bottom. Okay. Deepen here. And then inhale, lift up tall. You're going to the other side. So your left hand tends behind you, right hand wraps around left knee. Lift tall up through chest, through spine, and then turn, twist. Doesn't need to be a crank. It could just be like a gentle deepening, meaning you're here for a breath or two. So you don't have to evolve to it right away. You can take your time with it. You don't have to revolve to it right away, but you can evolve into it slowly. Stay aware of the breath and the pattern that it's choosing. And speaking of my furry friend, she's like knocking at the door right now. I might go let her in. We'll take one more instance in this space. And then you'll take yourself to unravel. Good. Neutralize, and then it's going to be about 3 to 4 breaths, extending your right hand down the long edge of your leg, left hand to hip crease. It's an opening through chest, maybe gazing up to the ceiling or down at the front foot. Hand can stay on hip to root it down, or it can lift up and above, creating a deeper side stretch, a little bit of a twist. Palm faces ground, and you connect to breath. One more final cycle. And then to come out, it's an inhale and an exhale to return over, both hands on either side of the leg, fingertips content, and 3 or 4 times you'll flush down and lift back up and kind of like roller coaster your spine. It's got the highs, the lows, the twists, the turns. Can do all of it here. And to come undone, let both hands frame either side of the body. Your legs can cross, and then you can flip up to a tabletop. And if you're facing the long edge of your mat, you can actually stay there. As long as you don't mind like hands and feet off of the mat, knees on that padding. Okay, if you weren't here in the setup of our practice, we will be on our knees a little bit tonight, so you can place a blanket or an extra mat under you to support you. Let's do a few wiggles and wags. So it could be a shake of the tail, a dropping and opening of the chest through cat-cow. You might even express to a child's pose or a down dog, just flipping back and forth, finding a moment of freedom. And we'll station ourselves, our shoulders over our wrist. Extend your right leg out to the side of your body so that your ankle, your knee, and your hip are in one line. And then your fingertips are going to drag towards your body, and you'll come to sit tall in a kneeling position. And then bring your hands up and above you. Good. And then flush them down forward in front of you. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, circle up and around. And then exhale, down and through. Last one, up and breath. Exhale, down, palms face one another. Good. Lift them back up. Bring your right hand to the back of the shoulder. And then you'll have your left hand catch your elbow tip. And just like you are in a little bit of a gym stretch, feel some tightening through your core. Maybe your tail tucks under, your head grows closer to the ceiling. And take one more inhale. And then when you exhale, really root down through your right foot, and then lean over to the left side of the room. Good, and we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to come through center. Exhale to lean over to the other side. One more time. Inhale, zip up. Exhale and side bend. Beautiful. Come back through center. We'll extend our arms. Good. Real quick, we've already done a lot of side body opening, but let's just drop right hand to right leg, left hand up and overhead. Perfect. Inhale, come back. And then exhale, drop your hands down and then land them right in front of you. Shift shoulders over wrist. You can bring right hand into your chest, turn your fingertips to either face your toes or you can face your body so that your heel is forward, your fingers are facing you. And then shift back and forth through a wrist stretch, through an inner groin stretch. You might even wiggle side to side or in a little circle. Okay. Meet back here in a neutral space. Turn your hand forward. Okay, then bend your knee, and as you do so, it might be easier to first turn your toes to the short edge of your mat if you're facing the long edge, so that you're setting up for a kneeling warrior two. So your knee and your toe face out. Your hands can then come to your like center. You can walk them closer to the body for just a little bit, and then walk them to your inner thigh so that you're finding a warrior two kneeling stance, but then a downward dog slope with your chest. So your hands are maybe like diagonal from your big toe. You can pull your chest down, deepen maybe the bend in your front knee. And if it feels weird, that's okay. If your leg is still straight, see what it's like to bend it. Have your knee right stacked over your ankle. And you're walking your hands to that bent knee. Last breath up. Yep, you got it. There you go. Last breath here. Or if you just got here, maybe another moment or two. Okay. From here, walk your hands closer to the inside of the foot. If you have a block, you can place your block there. Your right hand's going to stay down. Left hand can come to hip or sky, and you're an extended side angle, but here on your knee. Beautiful. From here, take one more big breath in. And then when you exhale, can you take it to peaceful warrior? Bring left hand to your hip that's underneath your knee or above your knee rather, and then pull everything back in the opposite direction. You might even bend deeper into your front knee. Okay. Let's come out. Take an inhale, find a traditional warrior two. Hands can come to prayer. And a few times, rock into that hip and then rock out. About 2 more times, rock in, pull out. Last one. Beautiful. And then your hands will extend up above you. Pull your knee in so you're kneeling and standing. Then your hands will press to your heart and then sink your hips to a hero's pose. You guys got it. Reconnect to the energy or the prana in your body, your life force energy. Notice its consistency of breath, of heartbeat, but then also witness what is flexible, what is changing, what's fluid, the blood, the pace, the depth, the patterns. And let yourself breathe into both. And then you can walk your hands down your thighs, and then you can walk your hands out in front of you, and you can be in this little child's pose with your head resting towards ground. Maybe your inner thighs stay squeezing, or if it's more comfortable and more traditional for you to widen your knees, you may. Last 2 complete cycles of breath. Notice like the predictability, that comfort. And then you shift, you come to a table. And before we do the other side, where again, it's predictable, you know what's coming, let's come to a down dog if you haven't already, or do it again if you have. So the toes tuck, the hips lift, the chest pulls back. Like these are our standing poses today. These are the ones that where we're on our feet, but our head is below heart. Could be a deep, deep bend in your knees, a pop in the heels, a press back with the chest, sensation through legs, through armpits, and suction cups through your hands and your toes. Good, go 2 more cycles. Exhale through mouth, find that cooling. And meet yourself in the imperfect. When you exhale, it's a coming back down to your hands and knees, tabletop. Find that stacking of shoulders and wrists, of hips and knees, and then extend your left leg to the long edge of your mat. Your toes face forward, just as the same direction as your fingers for now. You can draw a line from your ankle to your knee to your hip. Good. And then you'll find your fingertips pulling to your body. And 3 times we expand out into a circle, lift, 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 grow tall through core. And then an exhale to lower your arms down, straight line, palms face one another. Good. Expanding up through the arms as you breathe in. A breath out, a moving down with the palms, with the hands, the shoulders, fingertips face ground. Last one, pull them up and around, and then down and forward. Good. You'll circle them back up. This time, your left hand is going to find your mid back, right in your upper shoulders. Then you'll find the hand in sky to the elbow tip. Before you side bend, can you get really tall? So it could be a little tuck of the tail. You might find your hip pointers moving closer to your low ribs, finding like that knit sensation in your core. It could be a gaze up with the eyes, maybe a back tuck of the toes to find stability. 3 times we'll lean over to the right side of your space. Find a lean, a lean, a lean, and then a breath in to zip it all back up. Good. And exhale for the lean. And inhale to come back through your center. Final time. Perfect. Okay, let go of the grip of the hand on the elbow. Left hand comes to long edge of leg. Right hand can reach above your ear, bicep and ear can kind of align as your palm faces downward. Gaze can be to earth or up towards maybe like my ceiling, a little popcorn ceiling, or maybe yours is something different. Like take notice of it, appreciating the little things. And then it's a zip up to a centered position. Both arms can float high and then let them land right underneath your shoulders. Shift yourself so your spine is stable, but your leg can still extend. And then pull your left hand up towards your chest. Flip your fingers to a comfortable space for you to stretch your wrist. And then it can be a lean back or a circle of the spine, of the hips and the shoulders. You might feel sensation through inner groin or through the back of the leg, or maybe somewhere completely different. It's so awesome. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 people here on Zoom. So much easier just to find something else to do, but y'all showed up anyways. We have 10 different bodies, probably doing different things, feeling different sensations, and atomically, we're all just built differently. And that's a joy. And that's a gift. Find that neutral spine. Your hand comes back into your chest, fingers face forward. Then turn your heel, so heel and toe are aligned, toe and knee pointing to the side of your mat. And then scoot your hands so that they can reach for your hips. And you're finding this, this setup. And we're going to come back down to the ground. So once you found your setup, then bring your hands to then walk over to the inside of your foot so that you're finding your leg station, but then like a downward dog slope with your chest. Fingertips or palms on ground. Lean with your hips, reach with your fingers. Maybe a tuck of the chin as you slope, as you deepen. And maybe unfamiliar territory for you. And what do you see? What do you recognize within? What's changed? What's stayed the same? And then we're going to bring our hands closer to the front leg, the bent knee. We're going to keep left hand down, but right hand can come to hip or reach and extend vertical into a line so that you're setting up for an extended side ankle. If this is too much, having your finger reach to floor, you can change it with a block or find your forearm onto the thigh instead. Last breath here. And we're taking it slower tonight, but you still might feel hot. You still might feel sweaty. That's okay. We'll breathe in, find yourself in a warrior two, arms reaching to either side of your mat, and then find hands in prayer. And then you can shift back and forth, maybe lean deeper into that front knee or take it away, lean in or reach back. Perfect. Okay, start to sit up a little bit taller. Bring your hands to your hips. We'll bring our knee to close so you have yourself in a kneeling position. Okay, from here, bring your left hand to your back pocket. And then you'll have your right hand reach up and above. You'll find hips pulling forward. Gaze can go to your back heel over your left shoulder. Then from here, you'll sink your hips back. Bring both hands to back pockets or extended back behind you as you drop your chest. Feel your hips and head reaching in opposite directions. Then right hand comes to back pocket, left hand reaches up and above you. Hips go forward, hand reaches up and back. Gaze can follow shoulder or heel. And we'll do that a few more times, flowing through like a halfway to then a breath in to lift up. And we'll go 3 more each side. Breath out to lower, breath in to lift. Go at your own pace. And although there are blank spaces, maybe mind is creating or mind is letting something go or finding some in between, some sustaining. Good. Continue to support your body with the hands in any way you need, but we're going to come to both hands on back pockets or hands on blocks or heels for a full expression of camel. And it might feel fun to go from half to full. And if you want to try that, you might kind of like weave your arms to do so. So I like to kind of like lean my hips back to then pull them forward to puff the heart, to reach the chin, the chest. And if back pockets are going to create more support for you, this is a very intense back stretch and deep heart opener. Just one more breath will suffice. As you inhale, zip it all up. Take your hands up into sky and then press forward and down in front of you. Big toes together, hips sink to your heels, and then extend your hands out to a child's pose. Really deepen your heart towards the floor. Stretch through the armpits. If you are practicing with those props, they can be pulled underneath you with your bolster, maybe even propped up on a block so that you can lean into it and rest a cheek. Once you've reconnected to your breath, we're going to move back into a table. Reach your right leg out in front of you. Reach it back behind you first. Get long, long, long. And then look between your thumbs. You can even encourage one arm to kind of help it forward if you need. We're going to press that foot between your thumbs. If you have those blocks that you're using, you'll have a block under each hand. You'll find a lunge at first, and then a half splits. Hips will go back toe tucks. You try to keep your hip over your knee if possible. And then invitation for a little bit of a side leg stretch. You can take your hands or your blocks over towards the outer edge. So if you see your pinky toe, you're going to take your hands to that side of your foot. And then maybe keep your heart puffed, but lean your hips back. And maybe just those slight little adjustments will create more sensation. If there's ever a pinching or a pulling, you'll move yourself out. If there's just like a little bit of edge, a little bit of discomfort, can you breathe through that? And like, let this be one of your self-regulation tools to feel something uncomfortable, but stay in it anyways. Accept it. Don't fight it. It'll just come back swinging harder later. Okay. Take your hands out. Let's come to a bent front knee. Extend your arms up above you, but then can you interlace and hook your thumbs and then pull and butterfly your hands away from one another. Deep stretch through your hips, but then a lean up and back with your arms, creating more of this like spherical shape with your body. Okay. Exhale, let the butterfly go, hand on either side of your foot. Couple options, step back to table and then come to child, or step back to table and come to down dog. Okay, again, if you're making this more restorative, child, if you're making it more active, down dog. And again, that's the power, the beauty, the celebration of doing a practice with all different kinds of bodies. When we get our autonomy, no, wrong word, autonomy by making these choices. We get our power back when we make the choice that's right for us. Okay, we're gonna do the other side, so lower your knees. Okay, if you want to come to your bellies for a little bit, you can come all the way down to your belly and maybe puff up your heart for a cobra or a sphinx, or even just a cow to a cat. And then you'll extend your left leg out behind you. Press it between your thumbs. Find that low lunge, hands on block, or heart puffing forward in front of you. And then it's a lean back. So your hip will stack above your knee, your fingers will be on either side of your foot or block. And then if you want that little bit of a side stretch through the side of the leg, you'll walk your hands towards the pinky edge of your foot and you'll pause. And Farida is here to remind me again of that consistency, of that sweetness that comes with time. I didn't expect her to come home and love on us right away, and she didn't. But over the years, she's grown closer and closer and become more comfortable as we become more consistent and constant. And I think that's anything and everything. We get deeper into something only when we really feel secure. Okay, let's transition. You'll move your hands back to either side of the foot, lean back into the depth of your hips and your front knee, connect your thumbs, weave them high up and above you. One last deep back stretch here, leaning forward into the front leg to puff heart up, look to the sky. And exhale to weave the arms down and away from the body. Tuck of the toe, a step back of the knee, you're in table. Okay, from table, let's all go to our bellies, finding the floor. Once you get to the floor, let yourself wave your heart up into Sphinx pose. So your shoulders will slide forward. Your shoulders are stacked over your elbows. You can press down through the toenails, Maybe a little activity through the legs. Pull back, find a little resistance of the elbows, a puff forward of the heart, and then a head roll, tucking chin to chest, knocking your ear to a shoulder. Half circles or full circles. You can go all the way the other side. And every day that we show up for our practice, for our bodies, our beings, I think sometimes we bring expectations with us. And I think that the more consistent we become, the more flexible our expectations are. So we're not just becoming flexible, switch directions if you haven't. We're not just becoming flexible in our bodies, but flexible in our thinking and our acting, and the way we adjust, and the way we grow. Okay, come to your mat. So you'll stack your hands, widen your elbows, lower your forehead, pick up your feet and rotate them in a circle. And we're at home, so if you still need to see the screen, you can adjust how you need to. But if you can, let's flip to our backs, just interlacing or like weaving one of our hands underneath our armpits and then flipping over to the back. If you need to adjust yourself, you may, but we're coming to like feet to floor, hips down, arms by our sides. Hey, if you did grab a strap or a towel, or you can also just use the support of your hands, we're gonna move to a lifted leg. So find your body resting. Grab the strap or towel if you have it. Your knees can be bent as you lift your right leg into the air. Find your strap with a bent knee pulling to the arch of your foot, and then you can re-extend your leg. If you have, if you just want to use your hands, you can grab the belly of the thigh or the belly of the calf. And then rest your head and your shoulders. You know, we might have built a little bit of sweat tonight, but I'd like you now to really, really calm and soothe the body. The foot can come a little bit closer to your face. If your other knee is bent, go ahead and extend it if you'd like. Keep your hips even and down. We've done a lot of hip openers today, so we won't go out with the hip, but instead we're going to go over with a twist. So after you've found the sensation through the back of the thigh, then we'll create a little bit of sensation through the side of the leg. Your hand can stay rested on earth as your hand or your strap pulls your leg across your belly and then over to the other side as far as you want to go. You might pick up your hip or you might root it down. And again, what sensation you experience is personal. But something we can share, something that's consistent is we're all here breathing. We're all drawing our awareness to the body, to the home of the soul. And we're paying attention. And that in itself will calm the body, will calm the mind. Stay open to the details. And we'll go 3 more breaths. To come out, take a breath in, recenter your leg over your hip. Might feel nice to find a half happy baby, bringing your peace fingers to big toe, the thumb of your foot, and pull your knee down and stamp the foot to the ceiling. And then release that strap. Bring your knee back down to the floor. Foot can come to the ground. Knee can stay bent. Both knees can bend. And for a moment, heel toe your feet apart and knock your knees inward. For the other side, find your feet back underneath your knees. Start to lift your left leg into the air or your opposite foot. You can bend your knee a little bit, and if you're using a prop, use it about at the heel, at the arch rather, between heel and ball mount, and then extend your leg back high. Good, you can find that vertical line, ankle, knee, hip, and then if you want, maybe a little pull towards your face, so there's more sensation, more depth through back of leg. Option to lengthen your opposite foot so that you're almost creating an L shape or an obtuse angle. And stay with your cycles. Creation, nourishing, ending and resetting constantly, consistently. And if you want to transition into the next shape, maybe both hands go to that strap, one hand goes to that strap, the other hand can rest on floor, and then just encourage your leg over and across the body. And you'll just go to a sensation where you're having some feedback. And again, this feedback still might be, please get me out of this. And just ask yourself, like, what happens if I stay? And this pose, as all the other ones, will be over soon, but the practice continues. Keep those cycles going through your body, but then pull your leg vertical back into sky. And then a bend in the knee, a pull down through the armpit, peace fingers or hands to outer foot or big toe and pull down. Maybe remove that strap. And if you want to become more neutral, maybe you add the other foot, find both feet into happy baby. And then maybe both feet extending into sky. And if there's an inversion that you'd like to experience, it could be your feet stay stacked above your hips with your knees a little bit bent, or a shoulder stand, or a bridge pose, or something that you choose. And when you've completed that, let's fall our limbs to the floor. I do want to take you through one more like breath technique, a pranayama. And if it's serving you, use it. And if it's not, then just float away to your shavasana, where words don't even exist anymore. It's just you, your mat, your beingness. If you would like to join in on this final breath before we flow away into that final rest, let's bring a hand to like the ribs. So maybe like if you like bring your fingertips, you can kind of find where there's that space where your ribs angle down. You might place a hand there right at the center and then the other one at your belly. We're going to do a 3-part breath. What this does for us is, again, just bring us into our bodies, allows us to feel the total like capacity of our breath, its total expansion, and it slows us down. So we take the breath in at 3 parts and we take the breath out in 3 parts. And you choose whether you pause between or make it one continuous effort. But I would like you to really focus on these 3 chambers of your body, which will be tummy, and then that rib space, and then up in your chest and your heart space. So if hand on rib doesn't feel good, you can pull it to your heart instead. All right, hand on belly. Let's breathe in until that hand fully rises. Breathe in, tummy. Take another sip of air. Breathe in to your lungs, your ribs. And then take another breath in to fill up your chest, your collarbones. And then you empty from your collarbones. You empty from your lungs and your ribs. And then you empty from your belly, pulling the diaphragm back in and up. And then we begin again. Breath in, it fills your belly, your diaphragm expands down. And then you breathe in again and fill up your ribs, feeling your intercostal muscles move. And then you breathe in again, all the way up into like maybe even the base of your throat. And then you breathe out, letting go of chest, letting go of ribs, and letting go of belly. Let's go one final round. Inhale, your belly fills. And then into your ribs. And then all the way into the cage of your heart. And then exhale from your chest. Exhale from the ribs. And exhale from your belly. And then let your hands soften. Let your breaths come in and let go in a natural way. And as you let this breath go, maybe one final body scan before I let you drift off into Shavasana. And honestly, I brought you guys so close to 7 o'clock that I'll take you through this body scan and then you get to choose how long you Shavasana for. Maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 20 minutes. You just lay and reset and absorb until you begin again. Body scan through the face, through the eyelids, the ears, and letting go of the clenching of the jaw. Feel the chest settle and your arms relax, and your fingers spread. Your hips grow heavy as your belly softens. Your thigh muscles let go. Your knees and the backs of your calves. And your ankles and the webbing of your toes. You can now just lie here. Both in completion and a new beginning. Truly, thank you all so much for practicing together tonight here on Zoom. I'm going to end the recording and you get to stay and be here as long as you'd like until we see each other again. My love to all of you. Namaste.